Hello and welcome to a brand new Football Manager series. This time we've gone to the Eredivisie in Holland and we are going to be in charge of FC Groningen. That's right, I went onto Google, found out how to pronounce it. It's Groningen. It's not Groningen, it's Groningen. I suspect quite a lot of you will have heard of this club. Obviously, they're not one of the biggest clubs in Holland, but they're certainly up there. They are, the last few seasons, 8th place, 7th place, 8th place. So they're up there. I'd say they're kind of like an Everton of Holland, maybe. They've also had quite a history of players coming through the club. There's been 3 main ones. I say 3, there's actually been a hell of a lot of main ones, but some of the main ones here, you can see Arjen Robben is one of their favoured players. He is obviously 33 years old now, but he started his career at FC Groningen in 1998, spent 4 years there before moving onwards to PSV. You've probably heard of this guy as well, Luis Suarez. FC Groningen was the first club in Europe that Luis Suarez played for. So if it wasn't for FC Groningen, you wouldn't see a Luis Suarez in Europe. You might do, but they were the first ones to bring him over. Obviously no longer a player, but current Holland manager Ronald Koeman, former Southampton, former Everton manager as well. He also started his career at FC Groningen. And the final player that I'll mention is Virgil van Dijk, now of Liverpool. He also spent about 3 years at FC Groningen, started his career at Willem II, I believe. Yeah, at Willem II, moved to Groningen early on in his career. So they've had a very, very good set of players. There's a huge list. If you go on Wikipedia and see notable former players, there'll be a load of players that you'll look at and go, oh, I've heard of him. Quite a lot of them did come on loan from Ajax, however. Now, I have not actually had a look at the team. I know of a few players that are there. I actually tried to start this save a long time ago. So actually, before I started the pool save, I was going to do a Groningen save. I've said it wrong. I've actually said it wrong. I was going to do a Groningen save. I'm going to get it wrong. I'm sorry. If you're Dutch or you speak Dutch, don't hate me because I'm going to butcher a lot of names here. I know some of the players. I know some of the better players. If we have a look at the squad, I literally have done nothing, by the way. Mimoun Mahi, the Moroccan winger, he is probably the best player that we've got. He's worth £5.5 million. He is wanted by quite a lot of clubs. So chances are we won't see him because he'll probably get sold. In addition to Mimoun Mahi, we have Sergio Pat, the goalkeeper, 27-year-old Dutch goalkeeper, decent keeper. He's 6'6", so he's a big lad. He is our number one keeper. We've got another one who's not too bad. I mean, if you look at the abilities here, we've got a good probably 15 players who I'd say would be good enough to start. And then we've got another 7, 8 players down here who are, they're youth players, they're youngsters who are still decent footballers. Lars Veldwijk, I assume that's how it's pronounced, is probably not even close. South African striker, he's another one of our star players, 3.5 potential ability and current ability. Don't know why I said potential. He's 25 years old. He is 6'5" as well, so we've got a big lad up front. Mike Tiwairik, I think, is going to be one of our main centre-backs. Again, 3.5 star current and potential ability. Worth a bit of money. Don't really want to sell him. It looks like he's only just joined, actually, from Heracles. I'm not going to go through every player, but here is another one. Samir Memisevic. Going to be a difficult name to say. 23-year-old Bosnian centre-back, defensive midfielder. Looking at him, I'd say he's probably more of a midfielder than a central defender. He's a good little player as well. 3-star current ability, 3.5 star potential. We are missing one player from our squad. According to Wikipedia, and I know that is a very, very trusted source of information, there is a Japanese player called Ritsu Doan, who's on loan from Gamba Osaka. Now, I don't know whether you know, but Football Manager doesn't have the rights to the Japanese league. That is with Konami, I believe, which is why Pro Evolution Soccer has the Japanese players. So, he doesn't exist, and because he doesn't exist, he's not on loan with us, which is annoying. In terms of our B team and our under-19s, we've got some very good prospects in here. Not a lot of current ability. Ruben Jensen is out on loan at Kaiserslautern, I believe, in Germany. Yes, he is. Norwegian central midfielder. He's basically going to play there until... is that how long his loan is? How long is his loan for? He's got another year left on his loan, so we probably won't see him anytime soon. If we change this to sort by potential ability, you'll see there is a lot of players. Finneson, Ludovic Rice, Van Kam, Margarita, Kramer, Faber, Van Magstright, I think I'm nailing it, Boss, Hoekstra, Frijks, Plume, Posma, El Ouazain, that'll do. So, all of these players, in theory, could be good enough for first-team football, and they're 2-star already, so they're decent players. If we can get some of them to go out on loan somewhere, some of these are like 17 years old as well. Quite a lot of them are 17 years old. So, there's a decent youth setup, and if we go to the under-19s, it gets better. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 players in the under-19s as well, who potentially could be first-team players. And that's not saying that the bottom 3 won't be. Just right now, compared to the rest of them, they're terrible. Let's take a look at the finances then. We are not flush with cash. We've got £5.7 million in the bank, a transfer budget of 2.228 million, but we are overspending on our wage budget by 83,000? Not 83,000, by £2,000 a week, which is quite a lot of money considering I think some of our highest paid players are probably only on about £7,000 a week. In terms of facilities, Groningen are not in a bad position, to be honest. There is a 22,500-seater stadium, which is fairly new. It's only 11 years old. Noordlies Stadion in Groningen, although we are paying rent for it. So maybe at some point we might try and convince the board to give us some money back. And by give us some money back, I mean buy the stadium so we can save £1.6 million a year. Corporate facilities are top corporate facilities. Training facilities are great training facilities. Data analysis, no one seems to have good data analysis. So we've only got basic data analysis facilities at the moment. Youth facilities are good. We have no stadium sponsor. Our youth stadium is also our first team stadium. Junior coaching is good. Youth recruitment, above average youth recruitment. I want to try and get that to be excellent youth recruitment and also excellent junior coaching. But that's a couple of years away, I think. Let's take a look at dynamics then. Match cohesion is pretty terrible, but that's probably because I've literally just started the game and I've not even hit continue once yet. So that would make a lot of sense why that's going to be very poor. Dressing room atmosphere is good, although it is dropping. And managerial support is average because I've got a strong influence over a number of players. Sure I do, I'm not sure how. In terms of hierarchy, it's a little bit strange looking. We've only got one team leader in Sergio Pad, and then we've got one highly influential player in Van Neef. So we could do with getting probably some older heads in. Although, looking at some of the names down here, Memisevic, Bakunia, players like that, I know they are good players, and they're fairly young, and they've been around for a while. So I'm hoping those players can kind of fly up to team leaders fairly quickly. Social groups is looking quite good. We've got a core social group of most players, a couple of little secondary ones, and then we've got Oldenburger and Begoy, I think. He's our sub-goalkeeper. They haven't made any friends yet, but I think they might have only just joined. Let's go through the news then. I haven't done any of this, as you probably can tell. I don't need to do these. I don't need to do meetings. Transfer updates. So we've got 2 players in on loan. We've already spoken about Ruben Jensen, who's at Kaiserslautern. So we have Antuna from Manchester City. He's a Mexican. He's alright, I guess. He's got a lot of potential, but he's not ours. So I don't know whether I'm going to play him, partially because I don't know what formation I'm going to play. If I play wingers, I might need to play him. If I decide to not play wingers, he's probably not needed. And I can terminate his loan if I really want to. We've also got Deovesio Zifuik on loan from Ajax. There is not an affiliate deal with Ajax. However, a lot of players go on loan from Ajax to Groningen. So I'm going to see if I can kind of just keep doing that. And hopefully I can just pinch some of the decent players from Ajax who aren't playing for them. Let's take a look at the Eredivisie then. There are a total of 18 teams, and we only play each other twice, so it's going to be a fairly short season. And by fairly short, I mean, I think it's 4 games less than the Premiership season, so it's not massively short. It's still shorter. Let's take a look at the season preview. Where do they think we're going to finish? 10th place. That's low. I was expecting higher. I was expecting about 7th or 8th. So, obviously, Ajax favourites, Feyenoord and PSV, also very good sides. And then, once you get to 4th, it kind of just becomes a bit of a bun fight, and any of those teams, AZ Alkmaar, Vitesse, Utrecht, Heerenveen, Zwolle, FC Twente, Groningen, ADO Den Haag, Heracles, Willem II, are all decent sides. I say decent side, like, I've heard of them. And I've heard of them quite well. Now, this is something that does interest me. if we look at the match rules for games, you can see no under-18s non-EU players can be picked for the squad, which isn't a problem. No more than 2 players can play for both the first team and the B team in the same week, not a problem. Although it does say players under 23 are exempt, so most of my players are under 23. 12 subs named, maximum 3 used. That's it. There are no rules to say that we have to play Dutch players. There are no rules that say we have to play European players. The only rule that really constricts us is the no under-18s from non-EU countries. That is going to do it then for this introductory episode of the FC Groningen save. Next episode, we're going to have the first 2 games of the season, and they're pretty big. SC Heerenveen is the first team that we play, and then we have a nice, fun and easy trip to the Amsterdam Arena to play Ajax, who, if you've ever played this game before, and I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you probably have, you'll know that Ajax are a very, very good side in this. They've got some very good young players. They've got some very good older players. So I'm hoping I can sort out some form of tactic and formation before we get to that game. Otherwise, we're going to get absolutely destroyed. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Football Manager 2018 with FC Groningen. If you did enjoy, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time.